And D, the draft is over.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys and Coffee podcast is back. We're ready to rock and roll. We made it. We made it through. You had your coffee today?
Yes, I did.
You know, we talk about Cowboys all the time and almost never about coffee. What's the best cup of coffee you've had recently?
The one I had tonight at your house.
One you had tonight at my house, freshly ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. There's a place in town called Zoombox in New Canaan. Fantastic coffee. That 10 out of 10 would suggest. Incredible blends they have there. So I'll take you there sometime.
Spencer has a good one in Baltimore too. That was
Care about
pretty
stupid
good.
one in Baltimore.
Yeah.
What do I care about that? Spencer has one. If he had one, it would be here. He would be on Cowboys and Coffee. He's just home talking nothing, so who cares?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Cowboys have made it through the draft. We are finally on the other side, and the Cowboys didn't do what we thought they would do. They did not draft a running back. Instead, they signed Zeke Elliott. Surprise? Are you surprised they signed Zeke?
Of course.
I mean, I'm kind of blown away that I don't know if blown away is the right word. They did need a short yardage back. I think that was obvious last year. They didn't have that guy at the goal line to punch it in. There's a couple times where I'm like, man, Zeke punches it in here. Zeke scores in this situation. Now they're paying him less money now than they are in dead money. But you know what? He's a great locker room presence. I mean, I think you got something on your face. There you go. Mm-hmm. He's a great locker room presence, and he's close with Dak. They love him in Dallas, obviously.
He still lives there.
Right. For a backup, I'm not upset. I'm really not upset. So, but forget about him. Let's transition to the draft itself. Okay, first overall pick. We have been talking about trading down. That's been ideal for us the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And
we were hoping and praying.
We were hoping and praying, and sure enough, they did. Now, it's reminiscent of years ago where people got on the Cowboys because they didn't pick Sharif Floyd, who now works for the Cowboys as a D-line coach, coincidentally. And they were upset that they didn't take Sharif Floyd. They traded down and happened to get a guy named Travis Frederick and another guy named Terrence Williams. Now, Travis Frederick, if he stayed healthy, would have been a Hall of Famer. Regardless, he's one of the best centers in Cowboys history.
Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
And Terrence Williams was a very, very productive number 2 receiver. It was worth the trade down. The Cowboys made a similar move. They moved down from 24 to 29. We were talking about we wanted the center from Oregon, but here's the trade-off, D. They don't get the center from Oregon. Or Duke, right. What they end up doing is they move down and they get their left tackle of the future, and they got a third-round pick from a trade down from 24 to 29. That's way above value. That's not likely.
Yes, it was.
Listen, if you had gone on a draft simulator before the draft, if you could go on one now and look to move down from 24 to 29, offer that same thing for next year's 7th and 24 this year, for 29 and a third rounder this year, and a high, a ninth pick in the third round, no one's accepting that. No way. You cannot make that happen.
No. Thank you, Detroit.
Thank you, Detroit. At 29, they get Tyler Guyton, who played right tackle, but that's because their quarterback was a lefty, so he's playing blindside. He'll switch to left tackle. What are your thoughts on Tyler Guyton?
Well, it's pretty obvious him and his father are like you and me.
Right.
Okay, with Cowboys. And he's limited at the right side of a number of starts. I get that. That can't be a plus. It has to be a minus. I understand that. But he himself said, I'm more of a natural fit on the left side. He's going to go in there and work hard. He loves the star, and that's a motivator. Got a great line, offensive line to work with. And they had to regroup, start all over with a new left tackle. They had people on the bench. They brought in the other guy, re-signed him as a free agent.
Chuma Doga,
and he's not
Richards.
He's just a body they brought in, and you have to let them play out. But this kid at 6'7", 6'8", lighted like a feather on his feet, and he'll get the nastiness. He'll understand it. He'll practice against Parsons, and they're going to develop him in. He might have a game or two that he's going to struggle. I get that, but guess what? There was another pick 2 years ago they made fun of because he held all the time. He was groping, and grabbing people and all that. And he ended up being all pro this year. But there's no guarantees.
That's true. But the Cowboys, I think, have earned the benefit of the doubt when they pick an offensive lineman. and they say they can develop him because everybody ripped the Tyler Smith pick a couple years ago. And he's an all-pro guard. They said they would be able to mold him. Guyton is a former tight end who knows how to play. He's athletic. And this is a guy who I think is the left tackle for the next decade. I mean, they drafted him to be. They're going to do their best to develop him. At 6'7", 322 pounds with 34-inch arms. I mean, he's huge. He's a massive individual. You had to move on from Tyron. You cannot pay big money for a guy to play 10 games. And listen, the Jets know that. That's why, even though they have Tyron at left tackle and Morgan Moses at right tackle, they still drafted the tackle from Penn State because you can't rely on him, unfortunately. If I could pay Tyron Smith per game, then sure, I would have no problem with that. What the Cowboys have done, they've started to reassess their line and rebuild the wall. That's it. I like the pick. They did exactly what we wanted. We knew they needed an extra pick. We're hoping for an extra 4th or 5th. They got an extra 3rd, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But a steal, when you consider that 24th pick became your starting left tackle and another player, it's a great pick. It's a phenomenal move here.
Thank you, Detroit. Detroit saved our draft. That Detroit pick, that trade, saved our
You keep
draft.
talking here.
And that's what we're hoping. Like, okay, we're going to get the tackle, so forth. I get all that, but Detroit helped us along to pick up an extra player who happens to be arguably the best guard in the draft.
Correct.
In the center.
So now we move to round 2, the regular pick here. Marshawn Nealon. They had D end. He's 6'3", 267. This is where I really thought they were going to go running back. Thought Trey Benson's on the board. Think this is their guy. And from what they've told us, what they've said from Dallas the entire time, he's stuck to the board. Dane Brugler had Marshawn Nealon as the 32nd best player in the draft. That's a first-round talent.
Yeah, that's first round. Yeah. Now, I know he's second round. What's the difference first round? There is a difference. There is a difference when you're ranking them. When you look back and say, okay, what they're ranked. If you draft them 4th or 5th and some of your draft gurus have them higher, it's a good thing, a positive thing.
I mean, think about it. You lost Dante Fowler. You lost Durance Armstrong. So their depth is gone. I mean, you still have Sam Williams to go with Micah and DeMarcus. But DeMarcus is in his 11th year. He's in his contract year. What I think will happen is DeMarcus will stay long-term, and they'll probably work out a team-friendly deal going forward. I think he finishes his career as a Cowboy.
I hope he does. We've been DeMarcus fan of him. High character guy.
Team leader. Excellent against the run.
Yeah.
He doesn't put up the big sexy sack numbers, but he does a lot of the things. How many times there's a big 4th down or big 3rd down stop, they run to his side.
Oh yeah,
he
at the goal line. There's been a lot of games at the goal line. He stopped the 4th down. The Texans won.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you have to think, hey, we have to draft someone long term. It's never about can I win it all this year. This is a franchise building. It might not have been who I thought they were going to pick, or maybe not who I would have even picked there. But building in the trenches, which they did with their first 3 picks, it's tough to be upset with that.
Well, here's one that when you break down film. Obviously, you break down film, you're going to see all the good stuff. Here's the story of that. They broke down film. He played against the tackle the Packers drafted and handled him.
Right. Correct. And now, I did say one thing I thought the Cowboys could do to shake things up in the first round. I thought they would, if it was crazy, they'd get Chop Robinson. But I did say I wouldn't be surprised if they picked a D end. They end up picking the D end who has the ability to be coached up. And this is Zimmer's specialty, to be able to craft guys into sack artists. And he's got a violent motor. This is a Mike Zimmer pick because he's aggressive. He's violent. He wants to work hard to get better. This is the guy that they're going to let Zimmer mold.
Well, and you and I, we look at body structure, body types, and stuff like that. If you look at him, he doesn't look the part, but he plays the part.
Correct.
And you want them to play the part, not look the part. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
again,
like the corner, he looks the part and plays it, but he looks long arms, 6 foot, and that's what I'm saying.
he had
This
a
guy,
35.5-inch vertical. He is explosive for a big man. So, we're going to see how he develops over the next couple of years. He'll be a rotational piece this year with Parsons and Lawrence and Sam Williams getting a bigger role. But he developed in year 3 into an 8-sack guy. 8 sacks is not bad. Not every guy has to be 10.5 to 16 sacks. A rotational guy is giving you 8. That's good. Of course, I want him to be 13 sacks.
But when he goes against Johnson, who was his last year, by the way, the Eagles, just letting people know that, I'm sorry. We'll see how well he does, because Johnson's all pro. That's a good test for him. If he can knock him around, that's great. But that's asking a lot.
Now we move to the third round. The Cowboys come in with a first, second, and third, and then they go in after night 1 with the extra third. So this is that pick that they got from Detroit. They turn around and solidify the line with what a lot of people say is one of the steals of the draft in Cooper Beebe. People have described him as NFL ready, as perhaps the most bust-proof player on the offensive line in the draft. I mean, this guy is nasty. Cooper Beebe, we talked about him. We thought we wanted the center. Instead of sticking at 24 and picking a center, then having to move Tyler Smith to left tackle and Tyler Bass to left guard, what the Cowboys have done, they have gotten Guyton as their left tackle. Tyler Smith stays at his all-pro spot at left guard. And now you have Cooper Beebe, who will come in and be working with Hoffman, working against Hoffman as starting center.
And it's not unusual to convert them to center.
No.
It happens. You'll have to learn on the spot. But somebody else will make the calls until he gets a hold of it. If you see his tape, he just levels people. Simple as that. He just levels people.
I mean, he's 6'3", 322.
Yeah.
With Tyler Biotish, who was a Pro Bowler, we didn't dislike, but there are a lot of times where he would get pushed straight back into Dak and mess up the pocket and get beat.
And it was obvious on film. You could see it during the game.
Beebe is not going to be pushed back. He might get beat once in a while, but that happens with everybody.
Well, Dexter Lawrence and the guy from the Eagles are not going to be bull rushing this guy.
Correct. Okay. He is.
And it's not happening. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, he is stout. He is tough, and I'm just super happy that the Cowboys turned pick 24 into their starting left tackle and starting center for years. That's it. And now Cowboys have depth. You still have Asim Richards. You still have Bass. You still have Hoffman. You still have Chuma Edoga. That's 4 guys.
And Ball. They have Ball. And the guy in the Wesco. What's his name?
Waletzko.
That's
but
4.
That's 5 guys. Yeah. Are there backups? If Asim Richards has to come in a pinch, I'm not feeling terrible. If TJ Bass has to come in.
And he's another year weightlifting and getting stronger.
Correct. So. And then there's more people coming down the road from that. Cooper Beebe, phenomenal pick there. Again, it's the stackability of the pick. It's not just that they picked him randomly in the 3rd round. It's that they got him. It's got a 2-for-1. Two starters.
The only thing I'm not into. I love numbers. I love the jersey numbers. I won't set off on having your college jersey. I don't like it. I can't be won over. But the tackles got number 60 from college.
Boo. Yeah. Take a number like 79.
Of course.
I like the Cowboys version of wearing the numbers to honor the players. I understand retiring jerseys, but I think it's cool if you could. I love that there's 88s in Cowboys history.
Of course.
You earn that number.
They had Randy White, 33. They got that.
Right. You
ain't getting 12 though. Okay. They had 74. Somebody was 74.
Right, there's only so many numbers you can retire. Somebody's got to play. Anyway, later in round 3, they had their own pick. They took linebacker Maris Liufu.
Yeah, I'm not pronouncing it.
Liufau.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out next time.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 234 out of Notre Dame. Cerebral player. Likes to hit you. This is also another Mike Zimmer pick. Not just because his defense.
Really?
It screams him. To me, it feels like they're redrafting the Bengals defense of those 2000s teams that he had.
Which were pretty good.
Yes.
They had a number of all-pro players on it. Remember the Geno Smith, right? Geno Atkins?
Yeah, Geno Atkins, 8-time Pro Bowler, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also a cousin of Puka Nacua from the Rams.
He's also what?
God bless you.
Okay.
I mean, he is, he'll hit you. He has to work on wrapping up and tackling, but we knew the Cowboys in these first 3 rounds had to address the linebacker position. We said offensive line, specifically left tackle. We wanted them to trade down, running back and linebacker. They didn't get the running back. And this is the spot where a lot of people and the Cowboys themselves said they were really looking at the running back here, but they stuck to their board.
Well, I think they got somebody from the Chargers and the Vikings. It's a clone to him.
Right, Hendricks, Eric Kendricks.
It's a clone. So let's see what he can do. He's going to, somewhere along the line, somebody's going to control the linemen, and he's going to shoot the gap and get some tackles behind the line of scrimmage. And he's a run stopper.
Right, and they're adding...
he's a run stopper.
They needed linebackers. With LVE gone, they still have Damone Clark.
Yeah.
Kendricks. They have him.
And Clark's going to play even better. These guys are going to play better,
they're better
because Zimmer is going to make sure they play better, period. Yeah.
They're going to tackle very well. Dan Quinn left, and obviously he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Obviously, forgot how it ended. Yeah.
He got the last game on his resume, though.
But compared to what Mike Nolan was, which was...
Oh, that was...
that's me
despicable. Coaching. That's me coaching WestCon. Coaching the Cowboys.
That's Zion, my 6-month-old, coaching the defense. Quinn did a great job. I think Zimmer has the ability to change up and kind of fit the scheme to these players a little differently. And we'll see what they have going forward. Listen, the Cowboys didn't have a 4th rounder. They had to wait into the 5th round. They got cornerback Kalen Carson. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I love this guy already.
He is...
Because he's in your jock already. You're warming up, he's in your jock. You go to the water fountain, he's there. Okay. You go to Starbucks, he's there. He's going to be there. Because you have to learn to play man-to-man defense in the NFL. And I know there's a lot of Humphreys and a bunch of Eric Allen, great off-the-ball cover guys. They were fantastic at it. But this guy is going to be right up in there, taking care of business.
They still need depth at cornerback, too. Mm-hmm. And this is the guy they were considering in the 3rd round, who fell to the 5th. Again, Cowboys stick to their board. They thought this guy had a 3rd round... he could pick him in a 3rd round. They instead went with Cooper Beebe, thankfully. But he falls to the 3rd round. They think they get a steal here as well. Again, everyone thinks they get a steal all the time. But, he is...
So let me tell you something.
He's a physical corner. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds.
Right. Let me tell you, when you break down film, there's plays that you see, you say, okay, he looked good on that. That's an easy play that you can look at film. But there's also plays on that you look on film going, wow, that means he knows what he's doing. And there's a difference there of knowing what you're doing and making a play than nobody blocks you tackle the guy. We get that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you have to pick players who are either going to be lower in your depth chart, who you hope you can develop. And once you get really to the 5th round on, you're drafting traits. How often you get to the 5th round and say, oh, wow, this guy is elite. We should take him. We know what he's going to be. Well, Cowboys picked a guy who they believe can develop in this defense and not have to start right away. He's not, obviously, with 2 all-pros at cornerback, with Diggs and Bland. But he's a guy that they really, truly think can develop long-term into a guy. I'm not saying the guy, but a guy, a player who could play in the slot and be physical or maybe go outside if he needs to.
Well, it's competition. That's what you're seeing here on the offensive line in the backfield. I know Landry had a rule. There was no guarantees coming back the next year. Matter of fact, Randy White will tell you the story. It's out there in NFL film. He goes, I was first team all pro, and he drafted a D tackle in the 1st round. Like, what? Yeah, so that's the way it should be.
Correct. So the Cowboys moved in around 6. They took Ryan Flournoy, wide receiver, Southeast Missouri State. Another position. We knew they needed depth. A lot of positions. There's just turnover in the NFL. Guess what? That's the way it goes. And they took a guy who is 6'2", 205. And Matt Miller likes him a lot. He's very physical. And he played well against competition in the Senior Bowl. It wasn't like he played well against scrubs and they got to the Senior Bowl and whatever. Again, you're picking for traits here or things you like. No one's saying he's developing into Des Bryant or CeeDee Lamb tomorrow. But you pick a guy who'll be on your roster and play special teams.
Well, when you get invited to your Senior Bowl, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because they used to have the North, South, and East, West, all that, those bowl games, and they were awesome to watch. They don't do those anymore. It's like, but the Senior Bowl, when you participate and play well, it's a good sign.
Right. Well, the Cowboys, we know we have CeeDee Lamb and Cooks. You have Cavante Turpin, who will do special teams. You have Jalen Tolbert, who basically has solidified himself as the number 3 receiver.
But he only had 22 catches last year. Played better.
As a 4th receiver.
Yeah, right. But yeah, right.
Well,
right.
I'm just saying we're looking at the roster.
Right. Yeah.
Right. They still have Jalen Brooks on there as well. Martavis Bryant's on the practice squad.
He's there. Yeah,
so
Bryant's
listen,
there.
Flournoy is going to have to fight for a spot. This is certainly not a given. You say, oh, they think these guys are steal. Every guy's a steal. No, that's not what we're saying. This is a guy who will have to fight for his spot. He could very well land on the practice squad. Or, every year Cowboys have some guy who plays well in the preseason and earns a spot. Could be him this year. Listen, they picked him, so now he's in camp, so he's going to have opportunity to fight for a spot. So,
well, when you see tape of him, you see his size. He's clocked, I think, 4'4".
Yeah.
So the numbers are there. See what he can do. There's, like I said, he's going to go in camp and compete, and the practice squad or knock somebody off of the roster.
Yeah, and
it's not an unusual story.
Correct. Which moves us into the 7th round. More offensive line help. They get Nathan Thomas, the offensive tackle from Louisiana. This is the future. I think he has flexibility as a tackle or a guard, but I think they're going to start to try and groom him for a right tackle spot. Obviously, you don't draft 2 left tackles, but I think he is going to slide he's going to be on the right side, and long term, he's going to battle with Ball or Let's Go, whoever else, for that last offensive lineman spot.
Yeah, one of those guys are getting caught because this guy's making a team. And by the way, very quietly, the lineman coach Duke said he was pretty good.
Correct. I mean, he's 6'5", 334. He is big, strong, physical. And another guy, Matt Miller, thinks could develop into a starter. Again, no one's saying he's starting tomorrow. No one's saying he's coming in and beating out Terrence Steele. But we actually look at Terrence Steele and Tyler Smith to say the Cowboys can develop their linemen. They can. I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro. Don't get me wrong. Is it possible he's the guy to take over when Steele's contract is up? He still has to come back and bounce back another year post-surgery on his knee, play better.
He gave up 7 sacks last year.
Nathan Thomas comes in. He's going to work hard at that right tackle spot. I don't mind the Cowboys picking 3 offensive linemen in the draft.
Ball's not making his team.
Right. Ball's had his shot.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, your chance. Listen, buddy. You better come in and play great this preseason because there's bodies there who can play. And this is a guy who, he was worth taking. And we'll see what happens from there. And finally, with the Cowboys' final pick, they take Justin Rogers, D tackle from Auburn. We knew it was a need. He's more in that bigger one technique role. He's not exactly a 3 technique guy like they've looked at in the past. I mean, he's 6'3", 346.
And I've seen plenty of tape on him. I looked at him. He makes, if you're running between where he is, you're not going to buy him. Okay? You're not going to buy, and he's quick off the ball. Now, he doesn't have a 3rd or 4th step to chase somebody down, but in his box, he doesn't get knocked off his feet. And for that size, he stays low.
Right, and I've been pounding the table for years for the Cowboys to just pick a nose tackle. They got Jonathan Hankins, who really was a difference maker the last couple of years when he was playing, and obviously Mozzie Smith, who needs to take the next step. But at least they're putting something in there. They're at least trying to address some need with bodies who are not just
and
bums.
Got the guy Davis they re-signed as a free agent who's 330. Somebody, Roger knows how to play that position and get it done.
Correct. Is there a, and we'll again another guy. We'll see if he makes the roster. You get picked, you got a better shot than not getting picked. that's really where it's at. What pick is your favorite pick? We're going to say the best pick. Okay, the left tackle. Okay, fine. What's your favorite pick of the draft?
I like the corner. Simple as that. That guy, you look at tape and you get a feel off the tape. So this guy is going to be something. Because he has all the tangibles of playing great against the run as well. Comes up and pops people against the run. And he's got it both. There's no weaknesses to his game.
Interesting.
Because he's in your jock and tackles.
Well, I'm going to say...
Which makes your running game defense better.
Right. Absolutely. The Cooper BB pick for me, we talked about it before the draft. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the extra pick that they got. And he is, I think, the starting center. I told you I haven't been totally sold on Brock Hoffman. We watched him a lot.
Right. But he played 2 games. I've seen him on tape. He didn't get pushed around on tape. Right. But I think and they're going to compete. You know, if Hoffman does a better job, he's going to start. They're going to have to do that. I don't think anybody's handling the job. Maybe the left tackle. And again, he's going to learn on the go and fire. You know.
Right. So the Cowboys have definitely done their due diligence on the lines, offensive and defensive. We knew that every position besides running back, I think they addressed. The question is, instead of someone like Marshawn Breeland, would you have taken the running back from Trey Benson from Florida State, or a running back?
I'm a Benson fan. I'm going to follow him where he goes. But
Carolina, which was he's going to be playing big. Listen, I'm telling you right now.
Well, Sanders is there, and then the other running back.
I don't care about these bums.
Yeah, Sanders is going to last year. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, listen.
They don't have an offensive line there. That's the problem.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You got no offensive line.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have taken a running back in that second round. I probably would have, but I don't run the Cowboys.
Yep.
We're going to see how they continue to address it. It's not, and that's the thing. It's not over. There's a group of now running backs who were on the roster as number 2, whose teams drafted a running back or got another running back. Someone like A.J. Dillon for the Packers, who is a backup now to Josh Jacobs. They picked a running back. What do they do with him? Do they re-sign him? Do they let him walk? Do they trade? Do they cut him outright? Do they trade him for a 7th round pick or whatever? There's a few players who are like that now on rosters around the NFL. The Cowboys swoop in and kind of address. Definitely going to be a running back by committee. You know, Rico Dowdle, Zeke, someone else.
Well, Zeke's yards per carry was my Bible school GPA, 3.1, 3.2, whatever it is, 3.4.
Oh, so that's pretty good for you.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
You had a 3.4 GPA?
Something like that, yeah. I got that little silly memo.
At 4.0.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But that's his yards per carry. That's probably
right. He's a short yardage back. He's a third back. He can be on passing downs as a passing back. You know, as a blitz pickup. We know that doesn't go away. I think he's elite pass protector when it comes to, you know, sticking in the backfield, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield too.
Or it's like this. It'd be like the Denver High School asking me to come back and play varsity for the last year because I had eligible. There's nothing there. Why sign him? I don't know why. I don't agree with the sign myself. You know, you have to be honest with, you know, what's going on there. They got the guy from Denver. It shows you a little flash. That thing went down. Mm-hmm. So you know, and again, either the media is going to torture the Cowboys on the running back, or they're going to prove them wrong, because nobody gains. I don't think. Nobody gets the ball 30 times a game anymore.
Right. They don't need to.
And people have 2 running backs.
Right. I mean, the Dolphins drafted a running back. They still have Mostert as their starter, and they have Devon Hakeem.
Yeah, the other guy who's fast as lightning.
Right. Are they interested in giving up a running back? Are they interested in trading a running back?
Oh, like the other guy.
Yeah, give me one of those guys who could fly, man, in the Cowboys offense. Yeah. That seems great to me. Listen, Cowboys, got several undrafted free agents, and that's where they shine every year. This year they paid a little bit extra for tight end Brevin Span-Ford. They signed him to a bigger deal. I think he got like $250,000. They beat out a couple of teams, tight end from Minnesota. He is there. They have Ferguson, Schoonmaker, and Hendershot.
And the other guy, Stevens.
Well, he's listed at wide receiver at the moment, John Stevens Jr.
Oh, do they? They lift them up? Oh, boy.
So maybe that's their official depth chart.
That's a body right there. That guy's body. Oh, that is awesome. That joker is built. I would love to see it slid out right there.
The wide receiver and tight ends,
manhandle the little corners for the Eagles have.
They're definitely going to be...
So they can list them at a wide receiver?
Correct.
Oh, nice.
They also got running back Nate Pete from Missouri.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, he's fast. I think that's about it. None of the other guys who I'm really looking at are sticking out to me. I mean, they'll be, Earl Bostic Jr. is there as a backup. He played a little bit too. Yeah. But I'm interested to see Denzel Daxon, a 3-technique D tackles, a free agent they picked up. They're going to... someone makes the roster. That's what we know. Someone makes the roster.
Right.
And the question is, who is it? Who is it? Jason Johnson, a linebacker. We will see. Remember, C.J. Goodwin, we know, ends up making the roster, even though
big special teams.
Even though they'll probably cut him before the season, then sign him.
Yeah.
They do the same thing with the long snapper. Eric Scott Jr. We'll see if he's progressed at all this year. Man, you guys got me watching with the kid. Everyone's like, stop yawning. You know what? Mind your own business, okay? I'm just kidding.
No, just kidding.
They have their kicker and Brandon Aubrey. They have their punter and Brian Anger. So we will see what exactly this defense and offense start to shape into going forward. What are we talking about for Cowboys before we're off today? Anything else?
I did say about the Red Sox starting pitching that sucked.
They've been great.
They've been great. First in the American League in pitching.
The question, you said this before, so this is you. In the draft, the Joneses nail it. In the regular season, the Joneses nail it. And the playoffs, they stink. They've stunk. So I'm interested. What do the Cowboys do to change their playoff? I mean, Jimmy Johnson's now a consultant.
You're burning up your house? What does that mean?
Put that away for now. You're on the podcast. Burn up the house later. So, what do the Cowboys do to change? I mean, what could they do differently? I mean, yeah, everyone's going to say run back. Okay, fine. Besides that, what do the Cowboys do differently?
That's a good question. What do they do differently?
The Cowboys didn't draft a running back. If they had drafted one in the 7th round, people would say, oh, they drafted a running back. Oh, great.
Listen, every year they're being questioned what they do.
We look back at
and we'll just review what we said before. They end up drafting well. They end up having a good record. And what's the third part they don't do well?
Play well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I trust Will McClay in the front office, Steven and Jerry, to make the right draft picks. Their board is clean for the most. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone messes up. We're waiting on last year's draft to pan out up top. Yeah. Cowboys 2023 draft picks. Yeah, we're waiting on Mozzie Smith. Schoonmaker, DeMarvion Overshown, we thought would be fantastic. He was injured. Richards was a backup. Eric Scott Jr., Deuce Vaughn, Jalen Brooks, Hunter Lupke.
Yeah, they made the squad. Those guys
TJ
made
Bass.
the squad.
Right. It's been a talented team. There's only so much you can play. Now, Mozzie played. Schoonmaker started to get in there. He was hurt in the preseason, so we'll see what they can do. But for the most part, their drafts have been pretty consistent. They get starters and players.
How about that punter? Oh, no, the field goal kicker.
Brandon Aubrey just had the best rookie season ever for a kicker. One of the best seasons of all time. He didn't miss a kick till the last game of the season. He was unbelievable. they get these guys who can play. So, what else do the Cowboys do? The issue comes in with Dak. I'm now of the opinion that Dak will not be re-signed, and they will move on to Trey Lance after the year.
I hope not.
I know.
They're going to come to an agreement. They can't let him go. Trade is... I'm not...
I just think that the well has been poisoned.
You're going to be a lesser... Because Trey's a free agent after what? This year.
Yeah, but if he shows something, they'll re-sign him. They're not
lesser money. They might go that way.
Right. You save money at the quarterback. Because listen, I asked the question. Dak was what, second MVP voting this year?
Yep.
Can you pay $65 million to him at quarterback?
No.
And win and be able to construct a team around.
You
say, they'll move the cap around, but
they'll back end it again.
Yeah.
What's he on the books for next year? 40 or 50?
If they don't pick him up at all, he's $40 million against the cap.
All right.
I think they move on from him because look how much talent he's had, and certainly the playoff loss last year is not all on him, but some of it.
Of course.
Some of it's on him.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't been able to lift you to a conference championship, now what's he going to do in the future? At what point can you say he is the guy? Great regular season guy. Fantastic. He's done tremendously well.
Yeah.
What's he going to do going forward? How do you get him to get you over the top? And if you can't, why are you paying for a quarterback who can't get you over the top?
Well, here it goes right here. I said before, and another writer said the same thing. Last year was the worst loss in NFL history for the Cowboys. McCarthy the year before said, it didn't seem like they were into it or they were whatever they said. Last year, what was that? Okay, so here's one I'll throw you out there. Belichick would not come to the Cowboys with Jerry. He just went through with Kraft. He's not coming. So you're looking at Zimmer taking the team over?
No, they wouldn't do that. They do an external search. I mean,
that's why McCarthy's the number one head on the block.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I said last year his seat wasn't hot.
I didn't like the hire anyways. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, he's improved the team. They've drafted well. Listen, he already has as much success as Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Not that that's the standard we want to raise.
Listen, if we won 2 or 3 couple games in the playoffs with him, two here, and we got to conference championship, yeah, he's doing a good job. But until that, it's the same old.
Listen, it's conference championship or bust right now. If he doesn't get the conference championship, he's got to be fired. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
And I told you all, you Cowboy fans, and here's the reality of it all. Now we have more bad history than good history.
Absolutely.
More bad than good. That last year game, zone defense and everything else.
Despicable loss. Yeah. Despicable.
Yep. And they fired the coordinator 2 weeks after the game.
Right.
Yep. So
the Packers didn't do anything that was worth it.
Yep. Right.
Ugh, absolutely insane loss. I don't even want to talk about that loss anymore.
No, I know that. Yeah.
It pisses me off.
Yeah.
Anything else before we get off the show for now? Not a long show, but a good show.
Yeah.
We're going to probably bring back we'll get ready for the season. We'll be talking more Cowboys as we continue to see as camp moves forward.
Are we going to throw it out there? You have to throw a bone out there who we're going to get on.
Go ahead.
We're going to get on somebody in the Cowboy organization that's been with Jerry in the organization for 30 plus years. We happen to know him very well. He's family. We're going to get him on here, and we're just going to let the show flow. High character guy. We love him dearly, like a brother, uncle. And we'll have a great show with him. And maybe his daughter comes on too, who is equally as awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. What is all stuff falling around here? Got stuff coming down, whatever it is. Listen, we do have some guests lined up that we're excited about. Move through the rest of this summer. I'm okay with the draft. You give the Cowboys a draft grade, what would it be?
Oh, I'll give him an A.
I'd give him a B plus. I'd give him a B plus because they didn't get the running back.
They didn't get that running back. I get it.
They got the lineman, but it is what it is. Okay, yeah. I'm being honest with you. I think the first round trade made them a winner on day one. They got the linemen that they were looking for at both positions. D end, I know it's a position that you can't have too many D linemen, D ends. I probably would have taken the running back there. I would have taken Trey Benson.
I would too. We have to be honest.
I'll be 100% honest.
I was screaming and yelling, Trey Benson.
Marshall, again, I know someone like Dane Brugler has him as a 32nd best prospect, which is high praise from someone like Brugler who gets it right more often than not.
He's really good.
He's fantastic. But I would have picked the running back. That's all I can say. That's what I've done differently, and I think that knocks him down for like A minus to the B plus for me. I'm not saying they can't. I want to see these guys pan out first. They got to pan out for me. You got to give me two offensive starters, a good rotation D end, a linebacker who's playing, cornerbacks who are getting snaps. They got to play. I want to see them take snaps from last year's guys. You know what I mean? I want to see them do something. So that's it. All right, who are you shouting out? Anybody or anything? Here.
Let me see. Who did I shout out to? I have to have a shout out to the Boston Red Sox pitching staff. Not what I said, they might suck now, but anyways, that coach, that manager is very good. They got nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
There's still a while to develop the farm system and rebuild the pitching staff, and they've done tremendous pitching job. And we'll get up there at some point and catch a Cowboys game. I am going to shout out my wife because it has been awful. I've had pneumonia for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I've been cooked, absolutely cooked.
Yeah.
And stuff here at the church that's, there's life and you got business meetings and all these things, and I've been shot, and she has picked up the slack times 100. So
especially when we're in Dallas, and we'll do a shout out to her when we're in Dallas.
Yeah. So, honey,
I mean,
thank you for taking care of everything.
Yep.
That's all I got.
That's it.
Listen, you know where to find us. Part of Designated Report. You can find us on Designated Report. You can find on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Here for the Cowboys and Coffee podcast. You find us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. Find us everywhere. We will have everything. This is our post-draft party breakdown. We'll have more content coming out soon. You guys comment. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you want us to talk about going forward as far as Cowboys content.
You're going to like this special guest, though.
Yeah, we'll have a good time. Listen, everybody. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Peace.